All right, I'm back. Hello, hello. Hopefully, we're having a good evening here. I know some of you, if we were watching here, I'm just trying to do two videos in a row this week. With the holidays and everything that's kind of going on, I figured I'd just kind of do coping skills and just kind of psychoeducation this week, and then next week we'll finish up grist and kind of move on to a new mental health theme related game where I'm able to kind of break down and process kind of maybe what the developer is trying to do here and just kind of incorporate a lot of my experience while playing the games here. So, for those who don't know me, this is Swizz. I don't think I said this in the intro, but just kind of a reminder. I'm currently a practicing therapist here in the United States. And yeah, I've have a career of about 12 years, and I've seen a lot, done a lot here, and I'm ready to just kind of share more skills with you all here related to mental health and providing the education that I feel is hopefully helpful to you all as we kind of go through this I like to say mental health journey, right? So next topic here we're going to dive into is going to be related to understanding fears. So we'll look through this little worksheet here that we have. We'll talk about fears and maybe some related to that kind of aspect, whether if it's anxiety or difficulties with that. We'll really just kind of explore what this means here, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So let's look at the worksheet here. I think I forgot to set it up, but we'll get it there. Here we go. Boom. Okay. All right, so here we are. We're understanding fears, and again, being able to kind of recognize what is a fear for you, and kind of what is a fear. How do we define it for ourselves, right? And I think the more we're able to kind of really just define what it is that we're experiencing, the better we are at being able to ensure that we can be prepared to handle it, right? So it takes a lot of time and a lot of kind of consistency, right? We were talking about consistency in that last group there, or last topic about sleep. Everything is going to be consistent, and the more that we do it, the easier it comes to us, right? So let's go through this topic here about understanding fears. There's not much to kind of cover here, but we'll just kind of look it out and just, again, the whole goal may be just kind of providing that self-reflection that you may be, lacking here, right? So, being able to kind of understand our fears, being able to identify what it is that we're experiencing. Is it a fear? Is it a dread? Is it horror? Is it nervousness, shock, uneasiness, anxiety, edginess, hysteria, overwhelm, tenseness, worry, apprehension, fight, jumpiness, panic, or terror? This relates to a little skill to use. And if you type in Google about a feelings wheel, it's a great way to identify the emotions that you're experiencing if you feel like you have a hard time of doing that, right? So if you're able to really just kind of break it down, you're really going to be able to kind of recognize what it is that you're experiencing, right? And the more that you do that, the easier it is to kind of know what skills is needed for that, right? So, what is causing the fear, right? Being able to identify what is the trigger leading us to experience the fear is key. So being able to experience whatever it's trauma or certain things like being alone, having to perform in front of others, pursuing your dreams, these are all particular triggers. So if you feel like you are experiencing a type of fear and you don't know why, think about what is that prompting events. We talked about, or I don't know if it was this topic here or a previous topic, but believe I had mentioned being able to, if you're having a hard time of trying to identify what that trigger is to use a skill worksheet called ABC, or antecedent behavioral consequence. So being able to kind of write out, okay, what had occurred, what was my behavior with this, what had happened before, and what was the end result with that. It's a really good way to kind of map out what you're experiencing and what you're feeling there, right? Interpretations, and I think that's a big thing here of how you're interpreting the fear. So certain things like the belief that we might die or might get hurt or might get harmed, experiencing failure, embarrassing ourselves, right? A lot of the time when we have that fear, we're interpreting in a way that we feel is going to be damaging for us, right? That may be kind of impactful. So I think it's key to be able to ensure that we're able to kind of interpret it okay. and we have that fear, a lot of it can lead to those biological changes. Again, kind of that fight or flight, breathlessness, fast heartbeat, muscle tensions, cramping your stomach, wanting to run away or avoid things, feeling nauseated, clenching teeth, all those things there. Expressions of action of fear. So, what happens when we experience that fear? Well, we have that that stare, the screaming or yelling, pleading, crying, whimpering, shaking, quivering, trembling. All that stuff can occur. And what are the after effects? Well, the narrowing of attention, being hypervigilant to threat, losing ability to focus or become disoriented, dazed, losing control, isolating yourself. Again, a lot of this time the fear is going on that we're experiencing is because of the fact that we're interpreting a crisis in our lives, right? So the more that we're able to kind of recognize, hey, that this is something that I'm dealing with, this is something I'm experiencing, and that I need help and assistance in that regards, right? It's going to be better for us in that end. So ultimately, too, that's the whole goal, is kind of looking at it, what your fear is, and be able to kind of have that introspection there. Some discussion questions here I think are pretty good, right? So one of the things here is the fear that you listed factual. There's a particular skill that we'll talk about here about checking the facts, where essentially our brain may kind of jump to the conclusion in order for us to feel safe, when at the end it may not be a factual response, right? So the goal is to be able to line up, does my feelings match the facts, right? Or does the facts match the feelings? And the more we're able to kind of think about those things, is this true? Am I right to feel this way? Or could this be something else that's going on? We'll be able to kind of really just kind of break that fear down and kind of question it, right? So the next kind of area here, a way to use your wise mind. The wise mind essentially is being able to incorporate the kind of the logical side of things with the rational side, or the logical side of things, the rational side with the emotion side of things, and incorporating together to kind of have one whole unit. And that's what the wise mind is. So we're not responding in a logical sense, we're not responding with emotional sense, we're bringing them to use both parts together to be able to kind of challenge the fear. And the last one here, what are the ways you can cope with fear in a moment? Again, easier said than done when you're experiencing those hard times, but being able to kind of know what is it that you need is critical there. So, like I said, it's a pretty kind of self-explanatory topic here. The biggest thing at the end of the day is just being able to kind of know yourself. And in order to do that, it really comes through having that self-reflection. So the more that you spend that time thinking about yourself and really just kind of processing these thoughts and feelings about what's going on, right, and maybe something that you're triggered, we're going to be able to kind of really develop those patterns, or kind of pinpoint exactly what's going on, and then we'll be able to understand ourselves better, so we can utilize those skills so that we can challenge, in this case, fears, and reduce the intensity that they have that impact our functioning, right? So that is the topic on fears. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As I said before, we're going to be doing the two psychoeducation coping skills group tonight. If you're here for both the streams, I'll be releasing one of the videos tonight, and then the next night on YouTube if you want to catch it there. And then next week, since we're still kind of in that second half of the holidays, I'm going to try to finish Gris and see if we can move on to another game here, as I kind of have my final kind of venture towards the ending of that game. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you all soon.